Sandro Diaz doing the Red Bull building drop. When I first saw this building, I was actually pretty nervous for Sandro. It's really hard to tell how high this is, but when you're dealing with like mega ramps or even the 70-foot jump, that roll-in is only like 65, 70 feet tall. I mean, they say, 9 stories or 90 feet, 100 feet. The actual jump is about 25 feet off the ground. So, like, it's only like 65, 70. Huge. Not saying that it's anything small or like it's easy or anything like that. But the smallest drop in here is 55 meters, which means this drop in, the first one, is like 180 feet tall. So it's like more than double. So just so you guys have like a idea of the actual size that they're dealing with. And given I don't know where they measure it to, I don't know if they measure it to the ground or to the landing spot, whatever. But, man, I know climbing over this edge right here is probably where the adrenaline is the highest. Because, for a couple of reasons. Right here, there's really no going back. Like, given it's a Red Bull production or whatever, so you're probably not going to back out. Like, they probably paid him a lot of money to do this, and it had logistically a nightmare, and it's all because of you, so you're probably not going to bail. But they put coping there. That's funny. That's funny. They didn't end up using it, but there's coping right here. Sorry. But when you go over the edge, you're like mentally, fight or flight kicks in, and you're just like, okay, we're doing this. Ads. All right, let's watch the actual drop-ins and see what's good. A couple of things you might not notice at first. Like, we can try to get a picture for how tall these like blue ramps are. Everything is so dwarfed by the actual size of the drop-in that they don't look that big. But these blue Red Bull like bird perch, we call them. Those might be bigger than any drop-ins that you've ever done. I mean, not the bottom one, whatever, but like this one up here is pretty crazy. Like, Sandro is probably just under 6 feet tall. So this could easily be the size of a vert ramp. I mean, or bigger. It's really hard to tell with the depth, but like this right here would be, it's reliable to say that drop-in is the size of a vert ramp. So you can wrap your head around that one. All right, let's see this first one. Let's see this first drop-in. Such a simple thing that I don't know. I feel like the actual like how climactic it is. I feel like they could have done a little better. Oh, I hate how they change the angles right as he's going. That is very frustrating to me because what I want to see is right here. Oh, they change it so fast. I want to see how much weight he's going to have down into the ramp, because that will give us perspective on, let's get this arrow actually working. That'll give us perspective on how steep that really is. We can't really tell, but the way the drop-in starts, it makes it look like this is legitimately 100% vert, which, I feel like they would benefit from showing how steep that drop-in really is if it feels like a free fall. We can't really see a whole lot on this one. But if you look, something that I found like pretty interesting that honestly probably isn't going to be discussed anywhere else on YouTube is right here. Look at this. When he gets back on his board to go to the main ramp, look how fast he's going. He's skating downhill right now. So that means the ramp is pitched like, that means the ramp is pitched kind of like a little half pipe to slow him down here. So I don't know where flat ground actually is. Flat ground might be like here, where it looks pitched up, but this whole thing is tipped over a little bit to help slow him down going into the foam blocks to stop him at 100 miles per hour. But the problem with that is visually it probably looks soft. The transition probably looks softer than it is, but it keeps going up and up and up. So that pressure, it'll keep that pressure on you all the way through that zone. Where usually if it goes like straight and then flat, you kind of have like this release of pressure when you get through. But right in this zone, right here, a little bit deeper than usual, you feel like still stuck to the ground. So I'm sure that is something that he really had to deal with when he was first learning this drop-in. I saw one where he bailed on the first try. Not in this stream, just like a video that they posted. And I wonder if that's why. Quick gear check. This is a good angle. These are going to be 215s. These trucks are going to be 215s. From the top, it looks weird because you can see the wheels on the outside. These wheels are massive. They look like longboard wheels. I'm not sure the reasoning for that. I don't know if that was for like ground speed, like he wanted ground speed, or if it was for keeping friction on the ramp, or it could be because of when he was testing the board for these speeds, he was on a track with a car getting towed, and you just need wheels that are smoother on that surface, and then you don't want to change your setup as you go to the big boy drop-in. The bushings are going to be the hardest things on the market. I wouldn't be surprised if they're even like specially made, just because, I mean, they built a ramp on the side of a building. So if you want some harder bushings that aren't on the market, I doubt that would be that hard to pull off. 60 meters. This is a great view. I wish they kept this view for the drop-in. Got some drone footage. I think I have that drone clip. We'll switch to it real quick after this. Yeah, you just can't see very much from the drop-in. Here is the drone footage drop-in. I just pulled it from a short, so there's like this play button that comes up. Here you see, as this drop-in happens, you see him kind of like floating away from the ramp. So that tells you just how steep that really is. So don't be fooled. And then right here is like the go zone. You can start to feel that pressure building, and this is where this squat gets really important. And then you're just holding. I'm sure there's a little bit of a stand-up that's going to happen. I would hope so. Yeah, you see his legs start to straighten a little bit. So when you're met with these G's through the transition, it's actually good to push back against it. If you just stay low, if you stay in one place, that's just going to start really fighting back. So you can think about it like this. Like if you've ever done a squat and you're down and you're holding your max weight, and you're down, and then someone just starts putting weight on you, you're just going to slowly lose it. You're slowly going to get stuck in the hole and collapse. But if you're down at the bottom and then you stand up and then someone starts adding some weight, it's not that big of a deal. You can probably manage a little bit better as you're taller. So you want to get low so you have pressure down into the ramp. So you're like holding your feet against the ramp a little bit stronger, because if you're too tall, then you're floating around and your center of gravity is too high, all these things. You get down, and then as that pressure starts to build, you actually stand up through it. And then here, check this out. This is where it's going to get a little funny because of this uphill. Now it's going uphill. Now is the only spot that had that speed wobble, and then kicked him a little forward. Okay. So let's just watch the big drop in from Red Bull's angle and have a day. What would that be like to stand there? I mean, I've been on mega ramps, but that's not what this is like. I think this is more like a Ferris wheel or one of those things with those roller coasters that go steep and then pause. I don't think this feels like any skateboard ramp you've ever been on. I don't think you can even relate it to a mega ramp, really, 'cause it's twice, 3 times the size at this point. It's just an entirely different thing. Okay, this will give us a good sense of how tall this thing is. We need GeoGuessr on here to wait. Let's get a line. 1 Sandro tall. Let's see if I can move this. No, it's a little too close. Okay. Let's say that's a Sandro. We got 1, 2. Finicky at. Yeah, it's 3 Sandros tall. So that's pretty impressive. Just for that bird perch, just to put it into perspective. I wonder what he's thinking. Probably just trying to like manage adrenaline levels, keep your legs strong. Like if your legs are shaking, it sucks because you kind of just lose strength. But I don't actually know what he would be thinking in this situation. And all this pressure down at the bottom. I just want to watch this jump. I feel like he is going faster than... See, like, this is where, honestly, like, you have to be so careful. Like, job is not finished. You are going faster than anyone's ever gone on a skateboard probably right now. And you know, like, he's throwing his hands up, and then look, you see the speed wobbles in the trucks, and then he jumps and starts to fall backwards. Like, yeah, a little bit of it was on purpose, but Sandro's more calculated than that. Like, he runs into his own board here. You don't want to run into a skateboard at however many kilometers an hour that he's going. You easily hit your ankle pretty hard or something. Overall, I was so scared for Sandro when he first decided to do this. I was not excited to watch it, to be honest. But he handled it. Sandro, I've skated with Sandro for a long time. Growing up, I competed against Sandro. And I was a huge fan. He had really nice alley-oop 5s, and he's known for his speed. So it really makes sense that he's the one who did this. Even though he doesn't have mega ramp background, he's known for his high-flying antics on the vert ramp. So nobody better. Good job, Sandro.